Okay guys, so I'm in the middle of building a set of snow skis for a model airplane, and I just wanted to show you the process. And so what I did is I have some of this thin aluminum. This is 8 thousandths thick aluminum sheet, so it's really thin. And it's pretty flimsy on its own. It's for flashing for a roof, but this is really thin stuff. So that's good because you want it to be lightweight. And so I cut out a little bit wider than the skis that I wanted, and then I bent the edges of the ski up. That stiffens it up. And then we'll also mount it to balsa and ply stiffener in addition, and so we can mount it to an airplane landing gear. But there are a couple of ways you can bend this aluminum that are relatively cheap. This is one tool. It's like a vice grip, but it's for bending metal. Has a really wide snout, or whatever you want to call it, and you can clamp on and then just bend the metal with this. Or a really cheap tool is this tool here, that it's designed for bending the flanges on rectangular ductwork, sheet metal ductwork. And so you can pick these up at a Menards or a home store, and it has a place where you can stick the aluminum in and then just bend it, and bends a nice right angle bend, and you can stick it in to whatever depth you want. The opposite side has about a 1-inch depth flange, for bending, deeper things. Anyway, that's a relatively low cost tool that you can use for bending sheet metal. So I've already cut these. I used a compound tin snips for cutting, and just cut the tips rounded and cut out the shape, and then just bend the two edges up to give it some strength, or stiffen up that aluminum. So the next thing I'm going to do, I cut these out of 1/4-inch thick balsa wood, and they're going to be stiffeners plus also a place to mount the landing gear, attach the landing gear to the airplane, or the skis to the airplane. So I think the next step I want to do is, I've got some really thin plywood, scrap pieces of plywood, and I'm going to glue that to both sides of the balsa, right where I want to attach the landing gear. So I'll grab a piece of wax paper, and we'll get these glued on. I'm going to use just some thick CA glue. This is Gorilla brand. I guess it's medium CA. So I want the outside of the plywood, I want the grain to be going vertical, since the grain is horizontal on the balsa. So just put some glue on these. I put some wax paper down just so I don't glue anything to the tabletop. make that flush with the bottom of the balsa wood. We can trim it off on the top. Do that later. Get some CA on the plywood. A little bit. Flush to the bottom. Clamp that until it cures. And just 2 more pieces of plywood to this helps stiffen up where the landing gear mounts. Just making it flush on the bottom. So I just have one side basically to trim. And we'll grab another clamp for this one. So there we go. So I'll let those dry, and then I'll show you how we attach it to the aluminum. Okay, so the glue on the plywood is dry, so I measured the length of the ski, and it's about 5.5, I think, or let's see, maybe a little. Yeah, it's about 5.5. But I didn't want the hole to be exactly in the center. I wanted it to be able to the front to tip up if it gets loose on the axle, so that the skis don't catch when you're landing. So I moved it forward a little bit, so I measured it 2.4 inches from the front is where I marked the hole, and then 1/4 of an inch down. And now I have a drill bit my axles are 440 bolts, so I'm drilling just a clearance for 440 and drill it right through the plywood. And through the balsa, and then through the other sheet of plywood. So that's going to be where my axle, where it attaches. And I'll do the other one the same way. Could do that on a drill press, but My camera is not in there where the drill press is, so I'll just do it here. Okay, so the other thing I did is I drilled holes in the aluminum. I marked the center, put some little marks where I wanted the holes in the center widthwise of the ski, and then I drilled some really small holes. These are small enough for a straight pin to fit through, so they're really small holes. It's a really small drill bit. I think maybe 30 thousandths or something. So I'm going to use straight pins to help hold the aluminum to the balsa wood, make it a little bit stronger so it doesn't come off easily. So line this up with the center and line the back up, and then just try and push this pin through. I didn't drill through the balsa, I'm just pushing the pin through. And it didn't go real straight, and now I just bent the pin. So at least we've got that one through. I'm going to pull this pin out and replace it with a straight one. Okay, there we go. So you can press this down pretty hard and kind of make a little indentation there in the aluminum. So that's going to give it some more strength. Once I glue this all, I'll cut the ends of the pins off that are sticking out. So I have three places that I drilled holes. One here, and then one in the very tip to hold the tip of the ski on. You know, you could lighten these up by putting some holes in the balsa also to try and make them lighter weight if they seem to be too heavy. I think these are pretty light. We can weigh them once they're done. Okay, there we're all the way through. Okay, so got two of the pins in. Let's see if we can get one through the tip of the ski. And I'll probably run a little CA down there also just to bond it, but I don't want to rely just on CA. I wanted the pins to help hold it on to the balsa wood. So that's one, and the other one you do the same way. I'm going to grab a scale quick and Let's just see what one of them weighs here. So we're on ounces, we're 4/10 of an ounce. Or 11 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams. All right, so there you go. I'll finish the other one, but those will be the for taking off from the snow with a model airplane. So thanks guys, please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Thanks.